Hey, welcome to That Marketing Show, episode 15. We've got a special audio only interview here today with Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary is a very influential person in the world that we work with for the social media and internet marketing space. He's very well known in certain circles. He's got a couple of best-selling books, Crush It and Thank You Economy. If you had a chance to read either one of these books, you understand Gary's attitude on winning and basically the no BS policy of really just taking the ball forward and having an exceptional life. He's been on countless TV shows from Jimmy Fallon to Conan O'Brien, MSNBC, CNBC, CNN, NPR, you name it. He's been there. He's got a business called VaynerMedia that I really circled in on this interview because I wanted to understand where that business is going. He's supporting Fortune 500 companies like Campbell's Soup and Pepsi and Green Mountain Coffee and the New York Jets. And the reality here is that Gary is a die-hard business guy. He really understands how to play. He really wants to be in the game to win. And by the way, Gary's ultimate goal is to own the New York Jets. Now, that's an achievement you don't hear every day. Anyways, let's talk to Gary, and I hope you enjoy this interview.
I had a lot of questions for you, but I'm going to try and, zap it down to the most important ones.
No worries at all.
As being an owner of an agency myself, I'm dirty hands all day, belly to belly with all these small businesses, medium businesses. We're making it happen. We're actually doing conversion. We're doing stuff. What would you suggest to a guy like me who knows he should step it up and get to the next level of client size? What would you suggest as the best approach?
To go to the next level client-wise, size-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a couple things. It's interesting, and I took the same advice kind of when I started Vayner, and it's kind of cool that you started by saying you're a Vayner, so you know what I'm about to say, which is my library is a price leader, right? We built, the business on aggressive pricing, low margin. So I promised myself when I started VaynerMedia that I wanted to be in the other realm, that I didn't want to do small business, that I wanted to go after, bigger clients. And so I would tell you, believe it or not, I think you'd be stunned. It's really kind of going for the at-bat. It's reaching out cold to the brands. It's going to LinkedIn and finding out who the CMOs and the brand managers are of brands and starting relationships, and literally a mix of cold calling and a mix of engaging on Twitter with the right people, I think actually then puts you in the RFP process. And it's really just at-bats. Once you get one, everything changes. So, once you get, Coke, Pepsi, Ford, or even if it's jumping from smaller business to bigger business, like Cleaners to Wine Library or Ray Catena within New Jersey, whatever it is, all you need is one to take the next step. And so what I would tell you to do is to allocate 10% of your time, whatever you're doing in the world right now, to trying to land a bigger client, because once you have it, you're basically then attracting other businesses of that size.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, which is the dedicate the time. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, and it's hard, right? Because you're farming, and you have to have the right balance of hunting too. You're taking care of your actual business. But one thing that AJ and I had a big discussion last night about was there's a client or two that we should be firing, and that's tough, right?
Lord. It is tough, but I'll tell you, it's all up and down the chain, and it's not necessarily a firing. It's an understanding that, listen, not everybody's going to be in my tribe.
Absolutely. And so for us, we're actually in a little bit of a better spot where they really want to work with us. They're just demanding so much over-deliverance on the scope that we're losing money. And I'm so thank you economy man and customer service that it's hard for me to draw that line in the sand, but I've got to, because it's hurting my people, which ultimately then is hurting my business, right?
Yeah, I'm right there, lockstep, but just at a different level. It's funny how many things that we execute on from all these deliverables. I mean, we're pushing social, we're pushing SEO, pay-per-click, reputation management, it's all the same stuff, whether you're doing it for a $1,500 a month client or you're doing it for a $20,000, $30,000 a month client.
And so what I would tell you is one of two things. Either you're the guy and you've got a great demeanor on the phone, so I think you could be the guy, or find the guy or gal that can really just walk up to a CMO of Virgin or McDonald's or, Wolfgang Puck's organization. You just got to go for the at-bats. You'll get a lot of no's, but when you get that yes, it changes your business forever.
It's funny because prior to building this business, I spent 10 years in corporate America, working for 70 of the different, working with 70 of the different Fortune 500s around here in New Jersey. So I've walked the walk and talked the talk, so I'm not afraid to step into those roles, and those shoes are definitely in my feet. It's just a matter of execution. You got it with the 10%. Mm-hmm. All right, so let me ask you some other stuff. I think that
Sure.
you covered that one really well, and I kind of appreciate it. So, I want to go back to the Vaynerchuk discussion because I think people want to listen to this, and I think they want to know what's the story with the upcoming potential Gary TV show. Are we going to see you on A&E?
So I've definitely had a lot of offers. Obviously, more and more of the offers are becoming business-oriented shows than wine shows. I would say I'd be surprised if I didn't do television once in my life. I don't know if it's now, but it's definitely something I think about. It's definitely something I consider. I obviously have enormous belief in the alternative platforms, but television is still an enormous platform, and the same reason I write books. As long as people keep watching television, I'll keep, considering it. As long as people keep reading actual books, I'll keep having them printed. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say anything is right around the corner, but it's an ongoing, fluid conversation with a lot of different networks, my agents, production companies. I'm very flattered that I'm still in a position where a lot of people make those offers.
Well, there's a monetization of it. I mean, think about it. If you look in Amazon, you see that Jab Jab's already listed as a book. I mean, people are thinking about how they monetize you a year from now, right?
Mm-hmm. It's absolutely crazy. So, I do think it's something in my path, but it may never happen. If it's not right, I won't do it. If it's right, I will.
Yeah. Well, the game of this, right? So, when we talk about motivation, you have a gift. You have that DNA background and the upbringing. I mean, you're not like the Tony Robbins appeal type thing where it's the, kind of over the top in one direction, but it's more like obsession of the game. I think that drives you. It's like, why do people climb Mount Everest? It's because they want to. And I think, why does Gary want to build the biggest social media empire? Because he wants to, right?
I think you've got, you're right. You obviously do know more about me than I would have known. Yeah, I mean, I'm completely not obsessed with the glory of the items that you get along the way, the houses or the vacations or the watches none of that stuff even registers. It's completely predicated on the game.
I got it. So let's go back to VaynerMedia. Mm-hmm. How do I find a Kelly McCarthy for my company?
You're really doing your homework. I think if you're brave enough to find a Kelly McCarthy for the company, meaning when we hired Kelly, we couldn't afford her, and I knew after interviewing her and getting to know her that there was no way that that I was going to hire her and not let her have a lot of autonomy. And that takes a really important maturity level in being an operator and a business person, to be in a place where you don't feel like you have to micromanage, that you're letting somebody else have an imprint on the DNA of your business. And it's a challenge, especially when you have such a religious belief of what it should look like I do. So I think that you need to sell a Kelly McCarthy more than the financial package. It's the opportunity, it's the upside, it's the autonomy, and to find really big A players, you've got to treat them like A players, and I would tell you that's a very big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a +1, right? You got to kind of manage your business by +1s, zeros, and -1s, and you got to find as many +1s as you can find.
Absolutely. And Kelly said to me on a flight home 2 days ago that, somebody told me early on in my career that I was going to be a great number 2, and he saw me recently and said, "Good for you, you found your spot." And I looked at her and I said, "You're a 1+5. You're a 1.5. You're not a number 2." And I think it's really important to find 1.5, 2.5, people that bleed over enough into leadership, but don't necessarily want to be the CEO or the chairman or things of that nature. I'm Brandon Warnick, who runs Wine Library. He's a number 2. So Kelly's a little more of a 1.5.
And those are just diamond in the rough. I mean, it's just so hard to find the right combination that really lifts you up.
I think listening to you, I would tell you that if you allocate the effort and time and use this phone call as a catalyst to take 1 step backwards for 3 steps forward, it would be a substantial opportunity, and I think it would pay its dividends.
Oh, 100%. No, and I don't think people put enough accolades into what you're doing with these interview sessions, because this is this type of stuff that just, these discussions don't happen. You're not talking to, Gary Vaynerchuk off the side of the street, or finding him and spending, 15 minutes of quality time. It's just not going to happen for 99.9% of the world. So, I can't thank you more for getting involved with us.
Thanks a lot for me, man. Thank you. Go ahead.
Just a couple. I wanted to, I don't want to take up all the time,
Yep.
but let's just talk a couple platform. Obviously, I know you're heading with micro content. We got the thing. I mean, we eat this stuff all day. One question I have, and this has been kind of begging, I think a lot of people's, proverbial kind of banging them in the head, was just what's going to happen with Google Plus? What is this platform going to evolve into? Because we're fighting that battle. It's almost like a serpent. I mean,
Can you hold on 1 second?
Yep.
AJ rarely calls me when he knows I'm having an interview. Just give me 1 sec.
Yeah. Okay, you back on?
Google Plus. I think Google will give an enormous effort over the next 2 years to make that platform work, and that's that, right? They're just going to really go out of their way to try to make the platform work, and if they can get there, they'll get there, and if not. I think they'll make a lot of integrations into the other products, Google Glass, Gmail, Android, anything they can to make it pop, but it just might not be there, right? It's just too similar to Facebook and didn't bring another added value to people, and might just have no real reason for people to go there.
Gotcha. I just wanted to recommend that people get a Google TV to see what's going on if they don't have one. My kids wake up and they don't watch TV; they watch YouTube now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's, between YouTube and Android and Gmail and Calendar and upcoming Google Glasses, they know what they're doing.
Well, I'm curious on how they're going to have an opportunity to maybe get into broadcast somehow and coordinate all the Google.
They're
Plus
in broadcast. World. They're wiring the world. They're players. I mean, they may not figure out social, and that just might not be what they're going to win, but they've got plenty of things they're winning at.
Okay, if I see Gary in 5 years from now, what's he doing?
I have no idea, and that's the real truth. And I think that's pretty much predicated on how I play. Very reactionary, more so than game plan. I'm the kind of coach that adjusts at halftime down 17-0, more than the coach that's going to have a game plan and spend all week trying to figure out how to go up something. It's just kind of the way I'm wired, and I definitely really have absolutely no clue what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. None. Zero.
The answer was buying the Jets, by the way.
Yeah, but that's definitely not true. That I can tell you won't happen because I'm just not in a financial place where that would be realistic. Though I do think that it's going to be something I will accomplish. I just know that I'm a marathon runner more than a sprinter, and 5 years from now, given where I'm at, liquid-wise and all those things, I just don't see that being realistic.
What do you listen to in your car?
I don't drive anymore, but when I do, at this point, I'm listening to my iPad, my iPhone, whatever's the last 5 or 6 songs that I've downloaded onto my iTunes.
Yeah, well, what were the songs? That's what I was.
Love it. Right now, I think I'm listening to a lot of Trinidad James, All Gold Everything.
Wow.
I listen to a lot of hip hop, but then I also go a little 80s music. I just downloaded some Pat Benatar and some Phil Collins, so it's kind of a mix of those.
That's awesome. And so this is something that I think is interesting.
Hey, hold on one second. My wife lost me in the airport. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right, I'm boarding the plane. Go ahead.
And that was actually dovetails right into my question. How has family life impacted your fire level? You know, your level of ability to have the fire in the belly. Have you noticed that you pay more attention to the finite time that you have in between? You know, the lifestyles
Absolutely.
of being a business and obviously having a family. And
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, yeah. I mean, it's massively important to me. It's the thing that I most think about, and my family is my whole life, and so anything that I can do to spend more time with them or focus more on them is extremely important to me.
Great. One last question, because I know you're sort of in between. So a guy like myself, who's the owner of a digital agency, he says to Gary, hey, let me spend 4 hours a day sitting and helping you understand the level of where we see the market going and you working with us. Would you take 4 hours of donation of time to work with people in your office to show them what we're seeing from a ground level, small business level, mid-sized business level, to give ideas onto how it could affect, the larger brands?
You meaning smaller agencies showing us what's happening in the trenches to affect what we think we can do for bigger brands?
And in the meantime, you showing like a smaller digital agency on the other side saying,
I think the true answer to that is probably not, because I spend so much time doing it for Wine Library on the small business level anyway. I really come from that world, and I'm kind of small business in my mentality. That to me is just giving, trying to be massively authentic to all questions on this series. That's something I probably wouldn't do. Right now, especially where we're at in the company, I'm so obsessed with spending as much time with my core 25 to 50 people to build it up that wouldn't seem as fruitful of like a time allocation, because I don't think the value prop is high enough, given that it's my general ethos to understand small business and medium-sized business.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that was actually the part of the last question, which, just really quickly talk about authenticity and transparency, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the answer to that last question was not fun for me, right? Because it's innuendo to the context of what you're doing and what I'm doing, and I'm so flattered and nice words, and so you don't want to say the answer that I just said. But I think that I've learned, and I didn't start there as a young kid. I was plenty bullshit as a teenager, but have learned how much value there is in truth and authenticity, and it's been the backbone of my success in this space.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about writing a book called Foul Mouth Hooligans, teaching businesses how to be authentic.
Yeah, I get it.
Awesome.
All right,
Gary,
I'm boarding. Thanks so much.
Take care. Thank you again.
Bye-bye.